Like most coffee shops, Antagonist Cafe has pastries, coffee, and cozy spots to drink it. But unlike most, it also has jail cells.
So the building that we're in is in the south side of Soulard, St. Louis, and it used to be an old police station and EMS hub.
Laura Leister is a co-owner of Antagonist Cafe and Pieces Board Game Bar. Both are housed in the same historic Art Deco building.
It was built in early mid-1930s by Albert Osberg, who was the architect who also built the Soulard Farmers Market. And it was built during the New Deal when they were going all around the city and building municipal buildings like police stations, EMS hubs, city halls, libraries.
The 3rd District Police Station was open from 1937 to 1990 and is one of 5 Art Deco stations built in St. Louis.
When this building was decommissioned in the 1990s from being a police station and EMS hub, it was sold to a private owner, and it was owned by a glass company for a few years, and then another private owner took it over. And that's when it became an art gallery, wedding venue, some food concepts. And that gentleman owned this property all the way up until we purchased it in 2024.
Anne-Marie Berger interviewed the previous owner, Ron Beakley, about Mad Art Gallery for Living St. Louis in 2004.
Anytime you have a building that's designed for some complete other purpose, and then you're trying to change what you're doing inside of it, that presents a lot of challenges. And with a gallery, wall space and lighting and air conditioning and all those sorts of things that you need to make sure the art is safe and secure and well presented didn't exist here. And the main gallery, which is the old garage, was just that. It was a garage for over 60 years, and it had the look and feel of some space that had cars parked in it with oil dripping and gas and smoke and exhaust for 60 years.
But Leister says renovating the space was challenging.
There still is a shooting range below us because the police station had an active shooting range. And so we had to decontaminate the lead in the basement and throughout the building. So that's what we did for the first 3 weeks. We hired a company to come in and remediate all the lead, and then we could come in and start working on it. And so we had to put plumbing in, we had to redo the HVAC, all new plumbing for Pieces. We had to dig 10 feet down to get to our sewer main. So it was just a full renovation while also keeping the bones of the property.
Leister says she and her business partners decided to buy the space when the lease at their previous location for Pieces Board Game Bar was ending.
And I really wanted to stay in Soulard, which limited our options. And when this building came up for sale, it was very high price tag. So I just kept watching it, and the price kept going down. And finally, I said, okay, let's look at it. And so me and my 2 business partners came in to look at it with our general manager. And the minute we walked in, we just fell in love with the building. It's the Art Deco design, the bones, it's unique. It's 14,000 square feet, so we could put Antagonist Cafe and move Pieces into it.
And Antagonist Cafe's name references the other coffee shop Leister and her partners own, Protagonist Cafe.
And it's just really fun because we're sitting in the very tip of the south side of Soulard, and Protagonist Cafe is on the very north tip of Soulard, so we feel like we're like the bookends of the neighborhood to get coffee.
Antagonist Cafe opened in December 2024. The board game bar reopened in the new location in February 2025 on the other side of the building, which used to be the garage of the police station. What used to house EMS and police vehicles now has a full bar and over 1,200 board games. And besides just the jail cells, Leister and her partners were committed to preserving the Art Deco style of the building.
We also have the original terrazzo floors out in Antagonist Cafe, the original brass reception desk where people would report crimes, bail people out. That's where you can order a latte right now. So all the original features, the jail cells are still here. The marble lining the walls into Pieces is all original.
They also added elements to match the Art Deco theme, like hand-painted stenciling and thrifted or vintage light fixtures and furniture. But Leister says they've heard some pushback online about their use of the building.
There's been a few people on the internet that will comment and say, oh, they're glorifying jail, or they're, making something, kitschy out of something bad historically. And so I always respond to those comments as, well, we're taking it back for the community. Like, no doubt that this was a negative place at some point in time for people. And any naysayers who come in, I think they'd really be pleased what we did for the community.
And she says it's important to renovate and reuse historic buildings like this.
And so every time I see a big box store knock down old buildings, or a developer putting in a new house or a luxury apartment, it just makes me cringe. And so when I saw this property, me and my business partners were like, this can't be demolished or turned into a luxury apartment. It has to be taken back for the community, and you can see the history in it.
For Living St. Louis, I'm Veronica Mohesky.